Hi, my name is Todd Hamans. I'm with Earless Rabbit Online Television Network. In this edition of Whoville, we have in our studio with us sports psychology consultant Sharon Petro. The name of her business is Head Coaching. Good morning, Sharon.
Hi, Todd. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good.
So, Sharon, you describe yourself as a performance coach for sports, business, and balance. What exactly does that mean?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a teacher and a coach, and most of my experience in those roles have been in athletics. And I now have expanded a little bit to work with business professionals and performing arts professionals, because the skills that I teach, the mental skills that I teach, really are applicable to any role that we play in our lives, whether it's professional or even personal. And what I found with many of the clients that I've worked with, they sometimes have a little balance problem. After we kind of take care of some of their sport issues and performance or their business performance, they start talking about trying to create some balance in their personal life. So that's why I included performance coach in sport, business, and balance.
Okay. So you say you work with athletes, business people, and performing arts. So are these all high performance individuals in these fields, or tell me?
Well, I do work with high performance athletes and business professionals and people in the performing arts, but not exclusively. Okay. So the criteria I like to use for people who work with me is that they have a dream. They have a dream to take their game to the next level, their performance to the next level. And if they're committed to doing that, I am more than happy to work with them. So it could be a teenager that would like to make an Olympic team. It's also somebody who would like to win their local club championship. And in addition to professionals in their field, whether it be business or sport. Or like I say, I've worked with an opera singer not too long ago who was suffering some anxiety about hitting a high note in one of the songs that she had to sing. And we helped her with that. I showed up at her opening performance over at Ashlon, and she nailed it. So that was pretty exciting.
Very nice. What would trigger someone to seek out a sports psychologist, consultant, such as yourself?
Usually it's frustration. They typically feel that their potential is so much greater than their actual performance. And in that, and knowing that, they sometimes experience a lot of high anxiety, a lot of stress, and just knowing that they work their tails off to be good at their particular activity, again, whether it be sport or business, but they're just not making it to the level that they want. So that's what usually brings them in. They're suffering from low self-confidence, and in turn that leads to low motivation, and they want to turn it around. They're not ready to give up. And very often, they've already tried a lot of things. With an athlete, they maybe tried a new coach, new technique, new strategies, sometimes even new equipment. And they finally realize that maybe it's their mental game that needs a little help. And we talk, in our culture, we talk so much about being mentally tough. But often, folks don't know how to make that happen. We have this kind of myth that, well, you're either mentally tough or you're not. But there's skills that can be taught, just like how to hit a better forehand in tennis or how to improve your golf swing. I help people break down the mental skills and teach them how to improve their thinking.
Okay. It sounds to me that your clients don't come to you with a specific. They don't know exactly what needs to be fixed. Therefore, they're coming to you. It's kind of a mystery to them. How do you get to the point of understanding what it is that they need to get to the next level?
I think one of my skills is I've really been trained and work at asking better questions. And I ask some good questions to try to get to the core of their issue, and then I listen. I listen to their story. Actually, I just had somebody come in yesterday, a golfer who wants to improve his skill. And as he was telling me his story, he said, I just want to win so badly. And I went, whoa. Just that clenched fist was a signal to me that he's going a little overboard, and if he can cut back and not want to win so badly, he could probably hit the ball better. So I'm just listening to their story. I ask good questions and I listen to their story, and that's how I find out what some clues as to what may be their problem.
Okay. What is the WIN method, and how did you develop that?
Well, it's an interesting acronym, and I use it because it's pretty pertinent to sport especially. But the acronym stands for What's Important Now. And what I've developed, this WIN method, I call it your guide to optimal performance, is to teach people specifically, I break down the skill of focusing. People lose their focus, they're attending to distractions rather than what's relevant to their performance. And so I've broken it down, and I have two foundational concepts that are really important for everybody. Ask better questions to yourself and to others, and to understand that perception is everything. How we perceive the events in our life is really very, very important. So those are two foundational concepts of my WIN method, but then I have 4 principles. Focus on your strengths. You know, I get a lot of people that have kind of a perfectionistic personality, and those folks tend to focus a lot on their weaknesses because they want to improve them. They want to be perfect. I try to encourage them to strive for excellence rather than demand perfection.
Okay.
So I try to shift their attention over to their strengths and how did they develop those strengths. And if we can identify how you develop those strengths, we can take that same process and attend to their weaknesses and develop those. So that's one principle. Another principle is to focus on what you can control rather than what you cannot. There's too often we focus on what other people think or the other person that I'm competing against, and we can't control that. We can't control the environment, the weather, if you're in an outdoor sport. So I try to get them to attend to what is it you can control, and let's shift our focus back to that because that's what's relevant. And the third principle is to focus on what you want to have happen rather than what you don't want to have happen. So often we say, don't do this, don't do that. You step up to the team and say, oh my gosh, don't hit the ball in the water. Phew, there it goes. So I try to train my clients to focus on what they do want. And another principle is to pay attention to staying in the present moment. Too often we get stuck in the past. It might be a past mistake and we just can't let go of it. Or we jump off into the future of the what ifs, and it's what if I don't do well. And as Billie Jean King says, the only ball that's important is the one coming at you. So I work at helping my clients identify the present moment and how to shift their focus and stay in the present moment rather than the past or the future. So that's basically what the WIN method is. And a really good question is, to stay in the moment especially, is what's important now?
I've heard you talk before about distractions. How does the regular Joe avoid the distractions?
Well, first you have to identify them. For instance, a lot of the athletes come and they'll say, well, you know, I'm really trying to win, and when I get into my tennis game, I'm focusing on winning. Well, winning is a future event. It's not staying in the moment. And even though I promote striving to win and doing your best, we can't control winning. What if you were playing the best game of your career, but the other person was better that day? Okay? So you can't, focusing on the other, focusing on the outcome is basically a distraction when you're in the moment. Now, planning to win, being prepared, working hard, having a good training program, being committed to your training program, all of that is critical. But in the moment where the pressure's on, the competition, you're in the middle of competition, we have to train our mind to stay in the moment, in the present.